Throughout history, many monarchs have been bestowed the name Great. However, one of the ancient greats that truly deserves the title was the first King of Kings, the mighty founder of the Achaemenid Empire, Cyrus II, otherwise known as Cyrus the Great. In the 6th century BC, Cyrus II of Persia embarked on a mission of conquest. Kingdom after kingdom fell before him as he formed the Achaemenian Empire, the largest empire the world has ever seen, which kept growing under the success of Cambyses and Darius. Cyrus left behind a rich legacy. His reputation of not only a conqueror, but an innovative administrator and pioneer of human rights has echoed through the ages, inspiring leaders and everyday people for hundreds of years. His significance and legacy has withstood the test of time, paving the way for other great leaders that followed. Cyrus's legacy lies in an old clay cylinder carved with inscriptions known as the Cyrus cylinder. The source tells us the story of battles in which Cyrus conquered Babylon, as well as how he announced his title and how he said he would maintain peace in the area. In this charter, Cyrus promised to treat all inhabitants of Babylon and other kingdoms he conquered with respect. He swore that he would allow inhabitants of his empire practice their own religions and social customs without persecution. Cyrus also promised to punish anyone who acted cruelly to other religions and social minorities in his kingdom. He forbade seizures of farmers' lands and properties and made slavery of any form illegal. These ideas presented by Cyrus through his charter changed the ancient world for the better. For the first time, people no longer had to live in fear if they were part of the losing side. Cyrus's commitment to fair and equitable treatment of his peoples is exemplary by modern standards and was unique to his time period. Since then, ideas of the Cyrus cylinder have morphed and changed, making documents asserting individual rights such as the Magna Carta, the Petition of Rights, the US Constitution, the French Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen, and the US Bill of Rights. This cylinder is now kept in the British Museum and is referred to as the First Bill of Rights. The United Nations released the description in 6 official languages, along with placing a symbol of the cylinder in New York, in the United Nations headquarters, which shows the significance of Cyrus's legacy. In addition to the fair treatment of the people he conquered, Cyrus also helped to establish one of the most efficient government bureaucracies in the ancient world. As the Persian Empire grew, Cyrus had no longer control of every single part of his empire. Therefore, he came up with a new system of governing. Cyrus appointed satraps, or governors, in each territory that he conquered. Satraps held great power as they were responsible for reporting regularly to Cyrus and for governing the areas according to Cyrus's directions. This new system changed and revolutionized the course of not only the Persian Empire, but the rest of the world. Now, through the use of loyal satrapies, Cyrus could expand his empire more than ever, while maintaining control of all the different states and territories that he was not present in. Around 370 BCE, Xenophon, a student of Socrates, wrote the book Cyropaedia, an account of what made Cyrus an ideal ruler. Through this book, Cyrus's humanitarian ideals and governing systems spread and influenced intellectuals all over the world of classical antiquity, as well as the Renaissance and Enlightenment era, and the forefathers of the United States of America sought inspiration from Cyrus the Great through works such as the Cyropaedia. Thomas Jefferson, for example, owned 2 copies of the Cyropaedia, one with parallels of the Greek and Latin translations, on facing pages showing substantial Jefferson markings that signify the amount of influence the book has had on drafting the United States Declaration of Independence. The reign of Cyrus the Great lasted about 30 years, during which time Cyrus built an empire by conquering the Median Empire, then the Lydian Empire, and eventually the Neo-Babylonian Empire. He led an expedition into Central Asia, which resulted in major campaigns that were described as having brought into subjugation every nation without exception. Cyrus not only conquered through expanding, but he unified the empire through introducing standard currency and weights and measures, making Arabic language the official language, and building roads. Professor, historian, and archaeologist Patrick Hunt states, "The empire over which Cyrus ruled was the largest the ancient world had ever seen, and maybe to this day the largest empire ever." 2,500 years ago, Cyrus the Great, leader of wisdom, virtue, and enduring influence, created the Persian Empire, conquered Babylon, freed the Jews from captivity, established mankind's first human rights charter, ruled over those he conquered with respect and benevolence, and changed the course of world history, and that will forever remain his legacy.